There's a hidden piece of dark Roblox history that many people don't know about or choose not to talk about, since it was very disturbing. Back in the early days of 2009, there were numerous reports of children going missing out of thin air. Children were going missing from all over the country, and no one knew how it was happening until a police unit from Kentucky started looking into the game Roblox. The police were stunned as they couldn't figure out how 11 children disappeared out of thin air, and how there wasn't a single clue except one, which was a distorted picture that was sent to the missing children's parents with a message that said, "Yum." No one knew who sent the picture to the parents, but it would all change when a boy by the name of Charlie ran into a police officer who was inside of a gas station. Charlie, all bruised and bloodied, told the police officer everything, and how he was the only survivor of a crazy killer who stalked children on Roblox and would kidnap them and eat them. Charlie explained that the killer was an older man with a sharp, skinny nose and thin hair on the sides and crooked yellow teeth with bad skin, and had a crazy look on his face. Charlie said he would pretend to be your friend on Roblox and said his name was Jeffrey, and that he was 15 years old. He explained how he would tell jokes and talk all day about video games and Pokemon. He said he felt Jeffrey was his best friend that he never had and could tell him anything. The officer took Charlie down to the police station and got a hold of his parents, who were one state over. The officer asked Charlie, "How did this Jeffrey guy kidnap you?" Charlie explained that he had been talking to Jeffrey for months, and that one night when he was on Roblox, Jeffrey messaged him asking if he wanted to come over and play Modern Warfare 2. I told him yes, I always wanted to play that game, but my parents said it's too violent. Jeffrey responded with, "Cool. Me and my dad will come over to pick you up later tonight, but don't tell your parents since they won't let you play Modern Warfare." He told me to meet him at 10 p.m. at the end of the street. Charlie explained when it was finally 10, he snuck out the back and started walking towards the end of the street. And as he was walking, he saw an old black van. He figured it was Jeffrey and kept walking, but as he did, he felt someone come from behind and pick him up. He explained how he tried to scream for help but couldn't, as there was a rag over his mouth, and next thing he remembers was waking up inside of a cage in an abandoned warehouse. He explained how he remembers the smell of rotting meat in the warehouse and seeing a boy in a cage across from him crying for his parents. Charlie said he screamed and screamed for help, but it only angered the killer as he came over and kicked the cage, telling him to shut up and that no one will ever find him. Charlie went on to explain at one point he saw the boy across from him go completely white in the face and started to freak out. Charlie was confused as why the boy was freaking out even more. But then he heard it. Charlie heard footsteps coming closer and the sound of metal knives scraping each other as the killer let out a crazy laugh. He said all he could do was sit in silence as he watched the boy's cage door open and the boy get dragged out by his leg. He said the boy cried for help, but all Charlie could do was watch in fear, knowing he was next. Charlie then explained to officer what happened to the boy. He said he saw the boy. The next part is too disturbing, so I had to censor it. Charlie said it was so quiet in the warehouse, all he could hear is water drops dripping onto the floor. And then he heard footsteps coming closer and closer to him. And then the killer's face appeared as he just hunched over looking into the cage with a huge evil smile. And then the killer opened the cage door. Part 2 drops next week.